Let's talk about self-love. YouTube, what is self-love? What do I mean by self-love? Self-love is treating yourself with the same kindness and support and respect that you would to a stranger. Sometimes we find it easier to help a stranger than to help ourselves. Self-love means acknowledging your imperfections and accepting that you will make mistakes and avoiding harsh criticism. We do make mistakes every day. We do get it wrong every day, but we have to be kind to ourselves as we are to strangers, and not to be so critical on ourselves. We are going to dive into five five strategies that we can use to practice self-love. My name is Sylvia, and yes, today we're going to look at self-love, everything to do with love. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and share it as well. So self-love, we've seen, is treating yourself with the same kindness and respect and the compassion as you would. And how do we do that? Notice your self-criticism. Pay attention to the negative words and to the negative thoughts and all those labels that you become for yourself. Be aware of your inner critic. What is that inner critic saying about Sylvia? Is it saying good things or is it saying negative things? Refrain from those thoughts that sometimes it's easy to just think negatively than positively. Do you agree? What do you think about this one? Let me know in your comments. So we make a conscious effort to refrain from negative thoughts. And I'm speaking to myself here. Practice mindfulness. Take a moment to breathe in and breathe out. I think sometimes for me, what I find helpful is that faced with a difficult situation, I'd rather just come away from that situation, just maybe look outside the window, just try and focus my mind on something different. So do let me know the strategies that you use, but we don't want to be too critique. We don't want to criticize ourselves for too long. So let's be kinder to ourselves. And that is one of the questions that I was asked to talk about self-love and what it is. And I'm learning because when you use self-compassionate phrases, it's you develop things like, okay, Sylvia, you can do it, or breathe in, or take your time, slow down, because sometimes when we get all stressed out and like I do sometimes, it's like, okay, just calm down, take a minute to reflect and think about it. And why does it work? It works because self-compassion reduces stress. It reduces the pressure for you to be perfect. Guess what? There's no such thing as perfectionism. You will never be perfect. You will die trying. You will drive yourself crazy trying to be perfect. Name me one perfect human being. That person does not exist. The quest for perfectionism is self-destructiveness, because you can't be perfect. You always find something. You be trying to write an essay and it would take you 2 weeks to write an essay, because every time you write it, there's always something to change. There'll always be something to change. So yes, we have people who are brilliant, amazing, outstanding, excellent, but not perfect, because that perfect person does not exist. So please, if you're a perfectionist, I used to try and be that, and I was the most unhappiest person to be around, even in my quest, nowhere near to perfect. So we're just not cut out to be perfect. We are all a work in progress. Again, in this digital business, we have so many examples of how to practice self-care, and being kind to yourself is one of the things. Number two, prioritize self-care. It allows you to look at things more constructively, and it focuses on your mindset from self-judgment to self-care. Prioritizing our self-care is beyond bubble bath. I know ladies we like shopping, yeah, shopping, pampering, going out on a lovely holidays, going here and going there. But trust me, prioritizing self-care is beyond all of that. It means deliberately setting aside time for you and only you. It means that you have to structure that time, because as single moms, professional working mothers, full-time mothers, we give so much of ourselves looking after others, being available at work, being available for your husband or your partner, being available to your children, to your church, to your prayer group, to this mother and baby group, to this volunteering, you name it. The list is endless. And then what happens is that we burn out. You know, people get depressed. People just have a meltdown because we are just giving out too much of ourselves and we are neglecting the person that is giving out. Okay, so we have to practice self-care. You say, okay, Saturday morning is my time, no interruptions, please. On Tuesday, I go swimming, I do water aerobics, that is my time, no interruptions. On Wednesday, I go out for a jog in the morning, that is my time. So we need to find time within our timetable, within our days to practice self-care. Not even to practice it, but to establish and embed self-care for ourselves, because we have to. We have to identify our needs. Physically, we need to exercise, we need to eat healthy, we need adequate sleep, we need to hydrate. And emotionally, prioritizing self-care, it means that we are emotionally available for our children, our partners, husbands, wives, and our family. We can also journal our thoughts. And I've spoken about um, savers by Hal Elrod, the concept of savers, the S being silence, and the A affirmations, the visualization, the E exercise, and the R reading, and the S scribing. So I try with a capital T to embed those savers concepts within my day. If sometimes I do 1 minute, I know you're laughing at me. Sometimes I do 1 minute of savers. Sometimes I do 2 minutes. Sometimes I do 5 minutes. It's a bonus when I can do 10 minutes, because that's equals to 1 hour. 10 minutes of each. 10 minutes of being silent. 10 minutes of saying positive affirmations about, it could be relationships, business, or biblical, and then 10 minutes of visualization, 10 minutes of exercising, 10 minutes of reading, and 10 minutes of scribing. So when I get to do that, it's a bonus. It's like, wow, and it makes a difference to your day. It really makes a difference to your day when you start your day right. So please, let's prioritize self-care. And also mentally, in fact, mental, what talks about reading, practicing mindfulness, all the things that I've already said, and schedule it. Don't ignore your spiritual needs. Do you need to do that meditation? Do you need to do that Bible study? Do you need to read that Bible? Do you need to spend time with the Lord? Do you need to spend time in nature, just thinking and reflecting? We need that. And learn to say no. It's okay to say no. You can't say yes to everything, because you don't want to burn yourself out by saying yes to everything. We need to practice gratitude. We keep a gratitude journal. We express gratitude to others. We savor positive experiences. And we notice the small things, and we're always grateful, thanking somebody for doing something to you, waking up in the morning and saying, thank you, God, for giving me another day. Just being grateful for your work, grateful for your children, your husband, your wife, for your family, grateful for the area that you live in, grateful for the appliances, just grateful for the car you drive, just even if you don't have a car, grateful for the transport links. So there's always something to be grateful for. Let me know your thoughts, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because today we are talking about self love, and it's all about self love. Number 4, Challenge negative self-talk. I don't know about you, but I have been around people. I'm one of those at different times. People who are negative. Oh my goodness. Like I had to teach my children when they're young. Don't use the vocabulary. I can never. I can't. Because all of those are self limiting language. You're telling yourself you can't. So what do you mean you can't? Have you tried? Have you looked at different ways? Have you asked for help? And so it's good to have an open mind, not to just say, I can't do it because I'm not able to do it. Ask for help. Look at the different ways that you can achieve that. Do you need somebody else to take you through? But just being in that moment of self-belief and negative self-talk is so it can be so detrimental to our development, because once you convince yourself long enough of something positively or negatively, it will begin to take the seed will begin to grow, and by the time you know, the tree has come out of the ground and is fully established. So how do you begin to cut down a tree? I'm just looking in my garden, and I'm just looking at the tree. I was thinking, okay, this tree started off from a tiny seed and it grew and it grew. So that's the same as our negative self-talk. It starts off something small, but then the more we entertain it, the more we speak into it, and it becomes this big tree that needs to be cut down. But the roots have been firmly established. So, what do you do about the roots? So, let's make sure those roots do not become established through uh, negative self talk and limiting beliefs. We need to challenge them. As soon as they come, we need to challenge them. Before we land this plane, we are going to look at the fifth and final strategy for self-love. Okay, the fifth and final strategy. Thank you for those who are watching this live. You are welcome. Do let me know through your comments. We're looking at the fifth and final strategy, which is setting healthy boundaries. Establishing clear limits on what you're willing to accept from others is in terms of their behavior, expectations, and demands, is protecting your time, energy, and emotions. And that is very important. You need to have clear boundaries. You need to know what can happen at what time and what can't. Because if you are open all hours and people can come in whenever they feel like it, and that's not good for you. Things need to be clear. How do you do that? You need to identify your values and needs. So Sylvia, these are my values. For example, if you need my help, you call me between this time and that time. If you need me to help you with something, give me some time. Don't call me and expect me to do it straight away. So those are some of the values that we had, knowing what we are, what makes us uncomfortable, so that we don't get disrespected. And I think by doing that, people will say, right, okay, this person, these are the values, these are the boundaries. If I need something to be done, this is how I go on about it. So we have to communicate our boundaries clearly and assertively. We have to be consistent. Let your no be no and let your yes be yes. Don't be hot and cold on a different day than when people don't know where your boundaries are clearly. We have to learn to say no, 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 no. It's okay to say no. We can say no. Okay, so don't feel afraid. I used to be like that. I used to be everything yes, even when I'm saying no inside me, I'm saying yes because sometimes because you don't want to feel like you're disrespecting the person, or sometimes we can be people pleasers, or sometimes we feel bad because somebody has asked, and we do this at our expense. But why do we do that? We need to say no and be comfortable with our no being no. Okay, so it's very important. Finally, is that because you know I was about to say the book of First Corinthians chapter 13 talks about love, 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 love. we need to do everything with love. Anything we do without love is pointless. So we need to love ourselves. If we don't love ourselves, then our existence is pointless, because what drives this world is love. And I hope you don't mind me, as a Christian, God is love. Everything is backed by love. So when we look at First Corinthians chapter 13, it's all about love. And God tells us that everything that we do without love is pointless. So we have to, so how more so about the world, what about you? You have to love yourself. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to seek support when you need it. And you have to make sure that you give yourself that credit. When you've had enough, put your hand up and say, no, no more, you know, so that you don't burn out. I hope you found this live valuable, all about self-love, and hope that you will learn how to love yourself. I've definitely learned a lot of things about self-love, and I am going to implement most of the things. I will see you again on the next live.